It is Money Monday, a segment where we talk about easy to understand ways to navigate your finances. We do that with the help of our friend Paul Hood. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Usually we talk about, we answer people's questions, but we're going to switch things up just a little bit because there's a really pertinent issue right now concerning payroll taxes, and starting tomorrow that goes into effect as far as not having to pay those. Explain how it all works. What goes into effect tomorrow?
So there's some traps there, and that's why I thought we should talk about it. The IRS issued Notice 2020-65. It just came out, and it's in response to President Trump's memorandum to defer payroll taxes. The key word is defer, Craig, because see what happens is when somebody gets a paycheck, they take out federal, state, Social Security, and Medicare taxes, and then the employer matches Social Security and Medicare taxes. This only applies to the Social Security taxes that the employee would normally have to pay. So what the memorandum says, or the notice says, is from starting tomorrow, September 1st to December 31st. Those taxes are deferred. In other words, they can be left in the employee's paycheck, but then January to April, they have to pay that back. So there's double withholdings in January to April, unless Trump says, unless I'm reelected. So Trump says, you can have this money, but if I'm reelected, if I'm not reelected, it goes away. If I'm reelected, then I'll enact laws that you don't have to pay it back.
So the idea right now is basically to try to give some people some immediate relief starting September 1st on their paycheck.
Yeah, now here's the trap. The trap is if you're the employer, you're still responsible for paying that money back January to April. So if you give the employee that money and then they quit you, you have to pay it back, and you have to chase that employee down. So if you don't, so here's what we're recommending with the information we have right now. We're recommending that the employer go ahead and withhold that taxes. I know the employees aren't going to be happy about that. They go ahead and withhold that taxes, but then they set it in a savings account with full transparency. And then if Trump isn't reelected, then the money's already there to pay back so the employee doesn't get hurt. If Trump is reelected and he does follow through with making it permanent, then the employees get a little bonus at the end of, at the first part of next year.
Essentially, they can just hold it in escrow and hang on to it. And would employees have the option of doing that, you think?
So that's going to be really up to the employer, because this notice is between the U.S. Treasury and the employer, not the employee. Now here's the risk. If the employer goes ahead and pays that to the employee, meaning they don't withhold, and most people, if they do that, what we're recommending is you send a letter, a very strong letter to your employees and say, don't spend it, you put it in savings, because if it's not made permanent, or if Trump isn't reelected, you're going to have, your paychecks are going to go down double with that withholding next year. So it's a deferral that right now we have to pay back. And so anybody has questions on that, they can give us a call, but it's not free money, Craig. It's a deferral that has to be repaid unless Trump gets reelected.
Right now, every little bit can help many people, but they need to know what's going to happen on that backside. And it does sound like a lot of work on the small business employer side of things.
That's exactly right. So again, we're recommending you go ahead and treat it like normal, withhold it, set it in a savings account, be fully transparent to your employees. If you don't have to pay it back, then give it to the employees as a little bonus that's their money in January or between January and April. Otherwise, you've protected the employees from themselves, actually, because they get it, they go spend it, and then their paychecks go down the first quarter.
Yeah, the big thing, we don't want any more surprises. We've had enough this year. Let's not have any for 2021, right?
Amen. That's right.
Paul, thanks for being here with us. We appreciate your advice. We'll be right back.